Now you know why they say you should take a shower once a day.
Everyone stare at the late people.
Oh God, the lunch flares.
My friends.
Good morning. Okay, where's the we all shots? He's gotten better. There's only like one lens flare per video. No. He almost made one without one. Hey Vic, where's the school girl? Yeah, Vic.
Good morning and welcome once again to day 2 of Otakon 2003.
Good morning, Teacher Jim.
Or it's 10 a.m. Do you know where your children are? Probably waiting in... Yeah, and you know where they are? They're probably waiting in line for the dealer's room.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to the Anime Music Panel Workshop called 20 Years of Anime Videos, or So You Want to Make Music Videos. My name's Jim Kaposztas, and the only reason I figure I'm up here is once upon a time, way back in 1982, let's put it this way, how many people weren't a gleam in their parents' eyes back in 1982?
How many of you weren't born yet? I was 16. This hobby is older than you.
Way back in 1982. Way back in 1982, I was a... Oh God, I forget. Shows how. Anyway, I was a senior at Fairleigh Dickinson University in Teaneck, and I had this one video professor saying, you know, who'd want to do music videos? You know, that's a cheap art. So I basically got two VCRs put together. Way back when VCRs used to come in like suitcase-sized cases.
Were they top loaders?
Yeah, top loaders.
With the beta?
No, I edited VHS. I put together a little video done partially inspired by a TV series that was running on PBS at the time called The Prisoner, taking all of these violent scenes from Space Cruiser Yamato, Star Blazers as it's known over here, to a happy little song called All You Need Is Love. We'll show that video later.
Now, is that the Beatles version or the Jams version?
Beatles version.
20 years ago.
Yes, once upon a time. You know, back when the only audio technology you had was record players, close-in plays, audio cassettes. No, not 8-tracks. 8-tracks were made an interesting cut when the side changed.
We didn't call it technology, we called it magic.
Anyway, 1983 marks the 20th anniversary of at least my work being done. I'm sure there are people who have done stuff before me, but it's like, I haven't seen it, so.
Actually, I have found no record of any music video being done before 1982, and I have looked. No.
Booyah! I was first!
Science fiction music videos, but not a single anime music video before 1982.
You win, or lose.
Booyah! Anyway.
It's all your fault.
Well, you want to hear a scary thing is I showed first couple of videos at like science fiction cons like PhilCon A21 and this little thing called Lunacon, where these science fiction fans said, hey, you know, we like this anime stuff, can you bring it over to the convention? And it's like, I showed my music videos, they turned out to be a hit, and the scary thing, or the twist of fate section was, someone went up to me and said, hey, you edit those things pretty good. Have you ever thought of doing it as a career? At the time, I was looking at becoming a radio DJ at some low-power station out in Kansas or something. And here I am, 20 years later, working for a major video post-production house, doing editing on better stuff. Oh, by the way, if you want to learn more about anime in the past, come to the Anime 1983 panel tonight at 9 o'clock, because another event which actually happened in this building was a fan by the name of Robert Fenelon got a hold of a Arrivederci Space Cruiser Yamato and showed it down in what is now Video 1. 35mm print. The convention didn't want to show it, figuring it was a waste of time, and that anime fandom ain't going to be around in 2000. And we're looking at what? 10 to 15,000 here, and Worldcon gets like 4,000. But anyway, okay, what have I wrought? Well, you've got these fine people here who have continued on with better technology than I have, or at least have at home. So let's meet the panelists. First, we've got Patrick Bohnet there.
Hello.
AKA Q. And to his right, or his right, my left.
Your right.
Jim Park, Doki Doki Productions.
And
Bobby, Seco, Beaver, CDS Productions.
and
William Milberry, Aluminum Studios.
next,
Jonathan Collis is One Productions.
and
Scott A. Melzer, I don't have any sexy handle.
yes. Then again, don't you have something in the competition this year?
No.
My mistake. I must have looked at
This was the year I sucked and did absolutely nothing.
Scott, sexy handle Melzer.
Okay, we're going to start off with with certain questions. Let the experts talk, and eventually we'll get down to technology or my hard drive's bigger than yours.
Probably is.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much RAM you've got.
I'm including that. A 64, I still got a 320.
Size doesn't matter.
size of the hard drive, it's how you compress it.
Mine's
Okay,
very compressed right
first
now.
off, how did any of you or all of you get involved in anime videos? Was it like frustrated teacher, or it's like you saw somebody's video and said, "Hey, I can do better," or "This stuff's crap, change it, beep." Anyone? Scott?
Well, at the very first Otakon, which only had 300 people, as in like about as many people who are here, was the entire convention, I saw that man, Bobby Beaver's Everything She Does Is Magic, and I just fell in love with it. Not the video itself, which was okay. But, Bobby is a legend. I saw that, and I didn't think I can do better. I didn't, nothing like that. I said, wow, that's really cool. I want to see if I can do this. And I thought, well, surely people have millions of dollars of equipment dealing with that. And about a half a year later, I found something called Insert Edit at a local VCR store, and bought that and just played around with it. I never thought this would be anything serious. Never thought there'd be huge competitions or anything. So, just having a lot of fun with it.
Let's have everybody answer this one.
I started seeing music videos at Turban Anime Society in about 2000 and said, that looks nifty, I think I can do that. And I did.
I've been coming to Otakon since 1995, and I used to see the music video contests, some old videos, some of Seco's and Dwayne Johnson's, and I was really inspired and motivated by them. So I bought a Matrox Rainbow Runner for my Pentium 200 back in 1999, and went at it. Exactly.
Got some tapes from Corn Pone Flicks. Anybody familiar with them? And those videos on there were pretty good. And I said, I'd like to do that, but I could probably do better. So I had a cheap VHS VCR and a $700 SVHS deck with insert editing, and history moves on.
I saw my first videos in 96 or 97. Earlier ones from Dwayne Johnson and HMTV. My first video was in spring '98 on a Pentium 100.
Okay, for me it's a little complicated. I've been collecting music videos for a little while, and I started collecting a lot of music videos. And then I started helping out with contests. And then it was, well, I'm doing this much. How can I, basically talk to all these people with a level of authority if I haven't made one myself? That was about it.
Okay, thank you. Me, I can easily explain. As I said, the complaint from a teacher, and I had 2 top-loading machines. One was this wonderful Hitachi machine, which could also double as a portable VCR. Just as soon as you hook the wire from the camera into the VCR and make sure that it was all powered up. And the one advantage was it had video dub and audio dub. However, I would learn many years later that all those videos I did are great, except you recorded everything on the mono track, and it's like, if you play it on stereo machine, it's like, where's the music? Eventually I graduated up to broadcast quality equipment like 1-inch beta P2. And one of these days, maybe even Avid. But anyway, now.
Your hard drive is bigger than mine.
Well, we're not going to go whip out his hard drive and find out today. Anyway, getting back to this. So that's how you guys got started. How did you decide on material, like music or visuals, or did you just see something, watch a show to death and decide, hey, I've got some ideas on this, or hey, that song will work good with Evangelion, while 5,000 other people are thinking the same thing. Anyone, just jump in.
Whether we're all supposed to answer a question.
Yes.
Why don't you start then?
Okay. This is good for me to start since I'm the crappiest editor at this table. I'm not here for my video editing talents. I'm here because I collect all of their crap. I'm basically will listen to music, watch anime, listen to music, watch anime, and then suddenly I'll see something. Hopefully I'm not driving at the time. That's happened once. It was scary. That's about it.
My first video was the ultimate cliche of a martial arts video to Mortal Kombat. I didn't go to cons back then very much, but so I didn't know that a lot of people had used or will use Mortal Kombat, so I didn't know it would become the cliche that's today. But anyway, Ranma was the first anime, like the anime that got me into anime, and so I just wanted to use it with something, and yay, Mortal Kombat, woo, fighting, yay.
I had a online friend of mine send me a cassette tape, and on that tape was Sting's Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. And I said, I could make a video to Kiki's delivery service with that. But no, that's too obvious. Surely, everybody's done that, because that's just too blatantly obvious. But I did a search online, and no one had done it as far as I know, so I went ahead and did it.
I get most of my ideas driving in the car, listening to music. I'll be hearing a song, and then the anime will just kind of pop into my head, and I do it from there. Almost all of my ideas have started in the car.
It's pretty much the same here as everyone else. I just load up a lot of stuff on Winamp, and when an idea hits, it hits, and usually I'm working on something else. There's 3 months later, when I finish that video, it's still there. Hey, it's cool, I can start a new video now. Oh wait, I've had that idea for 3 months. It'll work.
I have a mic, but it's smaller than Jim's.
Got mic envy?
Well, I probably do something that I guess no one else has mentioned. I steal from my friends. See, half of, all of my videos except maybe one were always done with somebody else. I find it very helpful to bounce ideas off and etc. And roughly half of the ideas that, for videos that I've done have been ones that friends have brought to me and said, hey, I've got an idea, what about this? But when I do think of something myself, rarely, I'm usually just listening to the music first. The problem is after you start making music videos and you listen to music, you can't not be thinking what goes with this. It's not like I want to come up with these ideas. I'm not trying, I just can't stop them. And most of them suck. Getting the good ideas, that's a better question.
I know, you hear certain songs, it's like, hey, that makes a great idea. Worst bit was driving into Baltimore, I'm listening to the oldies station, up comes Elvis Presley, looked like an angel, devil in disguise, and all of a sudden screaming, hey, that'll work with Devil Man Lady. So if that shows up next year at the competition, you know where it came from. You know, it's like, originally when I started videos, I just did like, you know, jumbles, like All You Need Is Love, which will be shown later, was inspired by the last episode of The Prisoner, where everyone's escaping from the village, they're shooting their way out, and you've got All You Need Is Love playing in the background. Another type I like to do is, what? Well, considering
You can't spoil that.
considering it's Star Blazers, it was massively toned down for American release over here. You know, you didn't have you know, people dying. It was, oh, our robot soldiers got hit. You know, which makes you wonder why is things like, but Sarge, what is that red stuff coming out there? That's transmission fluid. Gee, it feels more like, shut up, we'll get yelled at by the sensors.
Get me some more spring water.
Believe me, after the night I had yesterday, I can use the spring water. But anyway, you know, you listen to different pieces, and you know, if you've been watching stuff enough, you know, images sort of flow into your mind. Besides, one way I found out about Otakon was way back in 1994. No, way back in 1990, I edited this video to the song Cult of Personality using Mobile Suit Gundam and such. All of a sudden, one day in 1994, this guy says, hey, did you enter a video in the Otakon competition? It's like, what's Otakon? I have to check this out. That isn't my video. I don't remember doing it. I still have yet to see that version of Cult of Personality. Then again, this also shows that some ideas tend to form in a vacuum. A few years ago at an Otakon, we had the same song, 500 Miles, I'm Gonna Be, edited by 2 different people. Using, yo...
7.
7?
That year, 7 people. Same anime, same song. Most of the time, same concepts. No, Ranma 1/2, but not just Ranma 1/2. Crap, who's the one who always gets lost? Okay, him.
And you thought hearing Fly Me to the Moon for the 100th time in karaoke was bad. Anyway, we've gotten the ideas on the visuals, on the music. Has there been any music that you found that, you know, when you do editing, that you either end up liking or end up loathing? I remember the one complaint at Otakon 95 was the Captain Nemo video. Probably helped Sarah Brightman get a spike in sales after that con. No, probably like 333. Yeah. Okay, we covered
some input. They're quiet.
You know, do you people have any questions or suggestions? Or
Actually, James, mind if... Oh, sorry.
Why don't you go walk out and ask?
okay. Sorry. You have
Yeah.
Can we throw chairs at people now?
Can we throw chairs at you?
No.
Hey, I'd like to take a quick unofficial poll. How many people here have done AMVs?
What's that?
And how many people here haven't done one yet but would like to do one? Okay.
You guys are all doomed.
Any really good ideas I can steal?
What?
When you turn it on, you have to wait 30 seconds before it works.
Okay.
Just don't walk in front of the speakers.
What?
It's smaller, but mine works better.
Okay, do we have any audience? Do we have any questions at the present time from the audience?
About what chance does a new person have of winning the contest?
Well, at Otakon this year, there were, as Matt said last night, there were 185 videos. By the laws of chance alone, you would have had, I believe, it was something like a 16% chance if your video was sent in of making the final cut. So your chances of making the finals alone, even if it's based on chance, is pretty rare. There's nothing wrong with being new though. New people have won awards before. It's just it's a matter of timing. It's a matter of what con you go to. If you really want to win an award and you're new, find your small local con, send a video, show up, and work your best way.
I've actually seen multiple times. Either someone's first year making music videos to win, or someone's very first video. In fact, mine. My very first video that I ever made won at the first convention I said to. Hasn't won ever since. But also, if you're making music videos and you want to win an award, stop. Don't. You make a music video because it's in your head. And if you don't get it out, you go insane. If you make music videos to win awards, you'll burn out and you'll hate it.
Or you're going to end up with otaku pandering.
Yes, doing videos is something you got to enjoy yourself and not necessarily just be doing for others. Actually, to kind of answer your question, it varies a lot from convention to convention. Otakon has the audience vote. Some conventions have judges. Some conventions have the people who submit a vote. So really
One moment, please.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Pison, responsible for music video. Do you have anything to say, Matt?
He's what every Python should be.
Anything to say in regards to the music video competition?
Please vote. The people who submitted music videos this year worked really hard on them, and if you enjoyed their music videos in the contest last night, please show your appreciation by voting so they have a chance to win.
Okay, and if you haven't seen them, get out there and see them. And to quote a line you'll probably hear in the California governor's race, vote early and often.
I like to answer that guy's question, Jim.
Yes, sorry.
One thing a lot of new creators get really worried. They say, oh, this guy's really established, he seems to win all the time, or this person, or the fans like this person or this person. Most of the people in the audience, they don't know who's a name or who isn't or whatever. They just know if they like a video. And honestly, I find a lot more energy and a lot more interesting, exciting ideas in someone who's new, because they haven't been burned out. They're not trying. They haven't watched 100,000 videos and say, oh, I must make mine different or whatever. They just sit down, rip open their heart, shove it in the keyboard, and sometimes it comes out good, sometimes it doesn't.
Or they're finding their groove, and that's what's fun watching.
As Frederick the Great said, regulars are easy. It's the new people you have to be scared of because they do weird and dumb things sometimes that get your attention.
Yeah. Any change is really gonna happen through new people, I think. Exciting, interesting change.
Okay, we have a question over here.
Okay, this is a little bit strange, but do you think if you use an anime that's not so well known, but the song is pretty well known, do you think it's more likely to be popular or not? Or people just ignore it because they don't know the anime?
My last video that used an obscure anime has had 17 downloads on animemusicvideos.org, so, and it had a fairly known song from a few years ago, so if you find something that people remember and they like, your video will be popular, and if you make a good video, your video will be popular. The thing is, it's like going out to eat. You have a known variable, and if someone says, it's a Trigun video, I like Trigun, so I'm going to download the Trigun video, you've got the known variable. If you've got the Kenji Spring video, or the Combustible Campus Guard Race video, yeah, you've got fewer people who are going to be looking for that sort of thing, but what will happen is the people who stumble onto it are going to be the ones who really like it, and you're going to get a devotion. And so you might be trading off numbers, but you're going to get people who really appreciate the work more.
Yeah, who's ever heard of Mocha Mocha African besides that guy? A relatively obscure anime with an unfortunately popular song, Who Let the Dogs Out. Awesome video. Obscure anime, good song.
Besides, look at it this way, you're giving exposure to stuff that people wouldn't normally watch.
I think the song is more important, personally, because when you're watching a video, a lot of times if it's an obscure song, you're listening to it, you're trying to figure out the words, you're trying to see where the guy's going. But if you already really know a song, then you can more readily absorb what you're seeing.
A powerful song can carry a video more than powerful footage can.
Yes.
Okay, we have one question over here, and I'll get to you in a minute.
Yeah, what's the best program to use when you're starting out?
Program? Do you mean like software, or do you mean video?
Well, we'll get into technical stuff later.
Yeah,
Do we
yeah.
cover this now, or?
Yeah, can we save technical stuff?
We'll save it for later, but there's no easy answer.
We're going to do a whole just a section just technical. We're talking about the kind of artistic questions and opinions. We'll get into detail, and we'll have afterwards. We're going to have like a one-on-one question and answer, because a lot of those questions are much easier to only really write that down and go one-on-one. It's a lot easier that way.
I have a couple questions. My first question is, when you're making a music video, do you feel when you make it, do you see that you put like emotion into it? Like, is it like the mood that you're in at the time? You know, do you base off your feelings when you're making the video somehow?
I think if you don't, it sucks.
Yeah. First and foremost, you have to be into the video and be enjoying it and be feeling it yourself before other people will feel it. So,
everyone answer this.
I mean, if you're like in a down mood, okay, does it reflect in your video? Yes.
My first video was Love Stinks. Enough said. But 6 months after a breakup, yeah.
I put my emotions in my video very much so. Like, if you've ever seen my Crossroads video, I did that a couple years ago. I was like really depressed, having a tough, just really depressing video. So I'd say my videos are a good map of how I'm feeling at the time.
I don't. Sorry.
Some of my videos like take so long that if I was doing a sad video, I'd hate to be sad for that long.
I can keep up.
Try doing frustration.
No,
don't. If you're depressed for 400 hours, something's wrong.
Okay. And my other question is action and editing sync. If you're trying to follow the lyrics, right? But yet you're also trying to match the beat. Which one matters more? Is it the lyrics or is it like the beat to the music when people are looking at them?
It depends.
Yeah, there's no straight answer to that one.
I personally love to switch back and forth, kind of editing on the beat sometimes and then switching over to lyrics and switching back and forth to keep it a little dynamic.
You got to back off and see what works, because when somebody's watching a video, they're not thinking technically. They're just it's just kind of washing over them, and all of that stuff is subconscious. And actually, if you follow the beat and everything too close, it comes out looking very techy, but doesn't feel very emotional, or doesn't really connect. Like, you're not usually aware of where the cuts are in a TV show or something. It's just someone's talking, and you see that person. Well, what if someone's talking and then it cuts to the other person? And it cuts to the other person, then that has a different emotional impact. And you're not aware of that, but the editor's going to go through and try different things and see what works. So I'll usually try to follow enough that whatever I'm seeing feels like what's going on. But experiment and just back off.
Yeah, one of the things I usually notice when working and in a lot of other people's video is what you see, the actual visual will have something to do with the lyric, but when they're actually cutting it, they're cutting it more to the music and to the flow. One of the most important things in the video is flow. If your video does not flow right, if it doesn't feel smooth, you're not going to have a good video. And there's a lot of people who just haven't quite figured out how to find groove. It takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to really find your groove and get into it. Once you've got it, you know you've got it, and you can get on.
Be willing to scrap. If something's not working, even if you put 50 hours into it, you're out of there.
You gotta be consistent when you do it. I mean, you can't, vary, abnormally from beat to action, beat, rhythm. Try to stick with something the whole video, or like for a section of the song, you stick with, changing on the beat, and then another section you change on the action and the words and all that.
Now, please remember, all this advice we're giving you, it's your video.
It's up to you what you want to do, good or bad. Most of the times, whenever I did videos, I would just basically either do like whimsy videos or trying to tie the video together with the song to tell a story. Like one video I did was Mr. Roboto. That worked with Mobile Suit Gundam and Char because you're dealing with a man who's trying to hide in plain sight. Do you have a question?
Can I have my ears back?
Don't you get jealous?
His is bigger, trust me, I know.
Can you handle Jim's mic? Prove it. Ask your question.
Stay on topic here.
Please.
What's your favorite video that you've made and your favorite video that someone else has made? Everyone has to answer this.
I'll most likely start off with this. One of my more favorite videos at this point is, I'll get back to it, but I forget who did. Someone had taken a song from a group called Sabotage called This Isn't What We Meant, done to Evangelion.
That's that guy right there. This guy, the blonde.
Well, one, that was impressive, and two, you beat me to the idea, so congratulations. Hey, it doesn't matter, you know, it's like...
You just freed him 40 hours of his life.
Well, it all depends. Considering I've been doing a lot of my later videos at work, I have to include time to download stuff, to digibeta, and then wait for an edit room to shut down to actually get in there. One video I did for the opening of Anime East, it's like I did 6 weeks of 4 hours a night editing this thing together, and then having to get home, catch sleep, go back into work, do this again. And we're talking about hours worth of stuff, load down to 5 1-inch tapes.
So what's your favorite video that you made?
Okay, ones that I would have to put a few of those in there.
One.
Okay, okay, I hate to say this, but I've been really proud of what I call Godzilla the Music video, which was originally put together for the GodzillaCon G-Con as an opening. As for anime, I would say Mr. Roboto. How many people can say they redid the same video 3 times to get it right?
Now we know, Jim.
Scott?
The favorite video of mine that I did is one no one's probably seen. It's Wings of Oniamis. I used a Christopher song called Spirit of Man.
That ran a couple of years ago in the competition. That was impressive.
Yeah, but that was when there were 30 people at Otakon. It was so small. But I just think emotionally it worked, and it didn't have fast editing or zippy stuff or whatever. But emotionally, I think it worked with me. And I get to go first. I can name a Kevin Caldwell video before anybody else does. I think my favorite video is still his that running one. Yeah, which is what a lot of people say, but it takes a very odd footage and there's a narrative flow in it, and you don't even notice it when you're watching it, but it actually builds somewhere, and it's all about these just girls running, but it's very emotional and it builds, and it's very well put together. I really love that one. I won't even mention Vlad's Memories Dance. Someone else can take that.
My favorite video that I made is probably my Sappy Lupin video, which is on the wonderful CDs. And I was really bummed out at the time. I made it in about a week. It's got, I think, 16 cuts in 4 minutes. But it just works very well. It kind of shows a sad relationship between Lupin and the princess in Cagliostro. My favorite video that I didn't make is actually original animation. It's made by these weird student semi-professional animators in Osaka, and they made this little 4-minute thing called Daikon 4. And it's basically a bunny girl running through the entire world of science fiction from the beginning through 1983 and fighting her way to the top. And it's got a lot of cameos, but it's also got the best flow that I've ever seen in an anime music event. You just watch it, and the entire time it feels like it's seamless. It's absolutely amazing and beautiful.
That bunny was actually me. Linger video. I don't know, that one just really gets me. It's really well done. It has really good emotion in it. I just really enjoy it. So.
My favorite video that I've done is probably Forever Young, which we bashed out in about 18 hours with 2 VCRs and a bunch of other equipment to make those nifty white fades. It's kind of emotional. The anime, by the way, is very, very boring, so you have to have a really long attention span to actually watch it. As for somebody else's video, I think Dwayne Johnson's, I think it's Dare to Be Stupid. And I think it's only for the one reason that he found a video for stick your head in the microwave and give yourself a 10. Incredible.
5 points if you actually know what it is.
I'm still 0
I don't
points.
know.
It's Ultimate Teacher.
Yes. Ah, yeah.
I have that.
Rather than say, oh, it's too hard to pick when there's so many, I just want to say that my answer can change at any time by my capricious whim.
What is it? What is it right now?
Yeah, right now, my answer is... of someone else, I like a video by Taranti, Venga Boys to Sakura. What was the song name again?
Was it Chicka Bow Wow?
Oh, yeah.
Is that something from Linkin Park?
Yeah, like Studio Tarantella. Yeah.
Made Sakura look dark.
Yeah. And of my own, I like Nyo is War.
Is it 4H, 3H? Who's the wrestler who has the...
Oh, Triple H.
Saw his video. Don't show up in Atlanta, it's gonna hurt. I'm kidding.
Sorry. Yeah, like some of my other videos are like more well known and stuff, but like since I wrote the jokes, like they have less of an effect on me. But Nyo's War is like more fun, and I can watch it and have fun more. And Dejiko kicks ass.
In reference, 3H or 4, the wrestler did see the video and liked it. My favorite video by someone else is by Jeff Teteric, Jujunko no Video, Videos from Hell. It's Why Me by Mike and Mechanics to Nashka. Those that have seen it, it probably is the best fit I've ever seen in a video. It's almost as if this song was made for the anime.
It's made with Warriors of the Wind, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like to mention that.
And again, while we're at it, I'll get to you in a sec. Have you ever had songs that like perfectly fit or you figure won't work and eventually work? I'll give you one example. Back at Otakon 95, somebody edited up a Grave of the Fireflies video to Love Will Keep Us Alive. And if you've ever seen Grave of the Fireflies, the scary thing was I think it came in 5th place that year, and I kept hearing people complaining, it's such a depressing video, but it works.
Why do we have to make such depressing videos?
Oh, it's just a question. Have you ever found like songs that like actually work well with one video, or it seems like this song was made for this music video or this program? And if you can you cite some examples?
Every little thing she does is magic. Kiki's Delivery Service.
Sailor Mercury in Blue.
Kenji Spring and Come Undone.
I was driving and I was listening to the Fight Club soundtrack. And it's all instrumental up until the last song, which is a bonus, and then there's you know, this really scary guy. It's kind of rapping, kind of talking, really scary, and I have no friggin' clue why Vegeta popped in my head. And he was like, and I says, no, that's stupid. I'm not making a Dragon Ball video. And then he's, you know, this is a really persistent guy, both Brad Pitt and Vegeta. I had no hope of not making that. Literally, I was having nightmares because they're like, you will do this. I'm like, it's stupid. They'll kill me at Otakon. They'll have seizures.
Then again, the most disturbing video I saw where the music matched was, I forget who did it, it's probably one of our panelists, was Everything, no, what was it? Another Police song, Every Breath You Take, done to Perfect Blue. That video is disturbing. And so was Perfect Blue. Anyway, we have a question back here.
You actually know what the song is about.
Hold on a sec.
I saw both of the first two DDR project music videos, and I thought they were pretty sweet. And I'm pretty sure at least one of you guys, I know at least one of you guys did some work on that.
Almost all of us.
All of us.
Except for Bobby.
Can you tell us what exactly you did and how you did it?
I can't hear. Can you?
This is a question dealing with the DDR project. You know, how'd you get involved? What music did you pick?
The selection of music is rather limited. It's got to be that mix.
Actually, a whole lot of videos, but
Okay, start over.
Which videos did you do? And on that project, on any of the 3 projects that I've done so far, I know the guy from Aluminum Studios did Get Up and Dance, and I thought did a pretty good job because I saw it last night.
Would we be able to limit it to the first 2 DDR projects? The third one's not done yet.
Okay. Of the 2 that I already made, which ones did you guys do, if any?
Start on that side.
Start there.
Okay, because Q's really the tech guy on that. He knows everything there's to know about that. On the second one, I did AM3P, and I got all these Gundams to dance, and you know, it was just kind of fun. The whole thing was based on the last line, which is, "You are the perfect dance machine,"
which unfortunately didn't make it to the project.
Oh right, which was cut, and I just went backwards from that, and like, okay, who needs to be trashed? And I had just watched Gundam 0883, or 018. I watched Gundam 018. I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I started watching Gundam Wing, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy versus this guy, and he's going down. So that was kind of it.
I did Boom Boom Dollar on the first DDR project, and I was able to get the track because I think I made the request. This was when it was completely open. It was whoever wants to be on this project, email Brad DeBoss and say, I like this song, can I do a video to it?
I actually
so
the first list of who was what, and you were the first one claiming that track.
Yeah, I was the first one to claim Boom Boom Dollar, and I said, screw the lyrics, they don't make sense anyways, let's just make something really, really fast, and I think it was the only person to get done, the first person to get done too for DDR.
No.
Oh, wasn't?
You were the 3rd person to get done.
Okay, well either way, Brad didn't like it because he didn't ask me back for number 2.
Actually, your email is bouncing at the time. What we did try to get all of your email physically. When we emailed you, it was bouncing.
One comment about Boom Boom Dollar, I think the song's about prostitution. At least that's what I get out the lyrics. On the second project I did Get Up and Move, I did Angelic Lair. I was a backup editor, so I was given that track in 4 weeks to come up with something. I just watched Angelic Lair, and I liked how the little dolls got up and moved. So my track looked like it was subtitled by someone on crack because I rendered the lyrics as text flying around the screen just to spice it up a bit.
Would have done that on this project.
I didn't know about the project.
First project, I did Operator. Second project, Trip Machine.
Okay, let me move this out of the way. I actually will have a lot to say about this because I'm kind of involved in the project in a very major way. I'm one of the 3 administrators of the project. Technically, Brad DeMoss is in charge of the project. He oversees the entire thing and does the final mixing. Shane Lee is, actually, who here in the audience has worked on the DDR project? Raise your hand. I said audience. So you have some other editors here besides just me. And Shane does the administration, managing the people, cracking the whip, that kind of thing. My job
DDR Nazi.
Yeah, DDR Nazi is his email address now. And my job is a technical thing. I take all the people's videos, make sure they're the same resolution, same frame rate, same field order. Very important. And compile them all into files, so Brad just has to go in on his timeline, mix them together, choose the transitions, and go. On the first project, remember, when we made the first project, 1, we didn't think we'd ever do it again. 2, we didn't even think we would get it done the first time. So the first project is, this would be cool, let's throw it together. And boy, was it painful. When it was entirely open, open people could just claim a track as they needed. We had 47%, I think it was like, mathematically, because there was only 50 tracks, less than half, just under half of the tracks, people dropped without warning us about a month before the convention. So that's why from then on we've been very strict about keeping track of who's assigned to what track. First project I did end of the century through Escaflowne. It only takes a minute, girl, to Can Buddy extra. And I did Follow the Sun to Mysterious Cities of Gold. And the second project, I didn't do any videos because I took over full-time the technical side of things and it was incredibly busy. So I wasn't able to work on any tracks on the second project.
Okay. Do you guys have to worry about or deal with copyrights? And like, if you do, how?
What?
Copyrights.
What?
Do you guys have to deal with copyrights, and if you do, how?
I see your mouth moving, but the words don't exist.
Sarcasm.
That is honestly the best way to consider it.
Yeah, the anime companies pretend they don't exist, and we're too low on the radar for the music industry to care about us.
This is basically the full legality of music videos. You can purchase the anime, purchase the music, perfectly legal. You can, in the privacy of your home, mix together an anime music video, perfectly legal. You can invite a small group of friends to show the video, or bring the video and show it to a small group of friends, perfectly legal. The second the video leaves your hand to someone else, or you show it to a large gathering, that is when technically you break the law. So it's one of those copyright what?
Gray areas.
One thing, I've always been careful to try and stop people from selling like my videos on eBay and stuff, because that's definitely crossing the line into flat out copyright violation. So I try and watch out, make sure they're never used in any kind of commercial manner. And I think most AMV creators are pretty diligent about that.
So it's complicated.
We had a question over here.
When you're making music videos, do you prefer hard edits or transitions when you're jumping between scenes?
Fades! Lens flares.
No.
Star wipes.
Holy cows.
I like the one that looks like a barn door.
Jinx.
Falling cows?
Yes, on Video Toaster there was falling cows as a transition. Cows would fall as a transition.
Personally, I just tried to do quick cutting.
I'm trying to ask about 3 times. This lady over here too.
We'll take care of the lady first, and then you.
Ladies first.
Except for conventions, where's a good place to go to watch anime music products? Like
To
on
watch
the
them,
internet?
the privacy of your computer and a high-speed internet connection.
Yeah, animemusicvideos.org, just stay off the forums.
Don't come near the forum.
Yeah,
Go
no.
near the forum.
No, go on the forums and be sane. It'll help a lot.
Just
both.
For those of you
Avoid
who aren't familiar,
off-topic.
AnimeMusicVideos.org is a website that catalogs almost all music videos out there. I mean, it has thousands and thousands cataloged. You can search for them, and it has links to a lot of them for download. It's kind of like the authoritative site. Yeah.
Not everything is there, but a large percentage of what is available online is there. Either it's animemusicvideos, plural.org. You have to spell out the entire thing. AMV.org is actually a German political group.
But there is animemusicvideos.de, and it's with a K, not a C, and that does actually follow the foreign scene now.
And which?
There is a .com, and it's something totally different. So
That's stupid guy's website.
yeah, totally wrong site. It's .org.
That or individual studio's personal website is probably the best place to get music videos.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got this music video I've been working on for a very long time.
Welcome to the club.
I'm very limited on footage. It's 2 video games.
Oh, I've done video games.
What? So anyway, I absolutely love the video except for the first 30 seconds now.
Cut the 30 seconds off the song.
Yeah, you're in luck. There's only 3 important parts of a music video: the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Artistic black.
It's like blacker than black.
What's your question?
Should I just try to ignore it? So I have a footage piece there and I hate it, but it's to the point where I deleted the source video for that section. So if I ever change it, I'll never put it back in. But should I just like forget about it?
Don't delete anything until you're done.
Yeah, just be creative. That Who Let the Dogs Out video in comedy, the guy's source for that was, he told me it was a single half-hour special that was done. Is it here?
Yeah, it is. The one with the
Yeah, he got real creative with it and threw in the other animes at the end and stuff. So I guess depending on the style of video it is, you can throw in some effects, throw in some other stuff.
For even less source footage, have you seen On Your Mark?
Yeah.
It's all of 5 minutes long. Joe Krause actually did a music video 6.5 minutes long, using that as source footage.
Okay, where'd you get the other 1.5 minutes of audio?
Art book. Scanned in 8 pages from the art book.
I don't know if we want to talk about On Your Mark. That could get violent.
The video is art. The person is in Florida.
And engaged.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? We got one over here.
So I've heard you use numbers anywhere from 16 hours to 400 hours. to do a
Excuse me,
video.
sir. Could you please speak up a little bit?
That better?
Yes.
I heard you use numbers anywhere from 16 hours to 400 hours for making a good video. But let me ask you, for a first-time person, a new guy, if you're sitting there with a music disc in one hand and an anime disc in the other, you got an idea? About how many hours should a person budget in order to come up with something that they're proud to show somebody else?
Do it until you're happy with it. It can take an hour and a half. It can take a year and a half. You do it until you either never want to look at the anime and hear the song again, like very great, or you deal with it until you say, you know, this looks pretty cool and I'm happy with it.
I did my first video in 9 hours.
I generally spend a couple dozen hours over a period of weeks working on a video. I don't really give myself any kind of specific timeline. I just work on it here and there in the evenings.
I work on it when it's fun for you. Like if there's a deadline coming up, you're like, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, it's gonna suck. So just when I'm really excited about this is really great, because that's when the ideas are gonna come. That's when it's gonna work. But as far as number of hours, most of my favorite videos, I later found out, much to my agony, that they took 15, 20 hours to do. My own videos, I don't really keep track, but I would say they're between the 100 and 200 hour range. So I'll nitpick, but it doesn't make a better video. It's just the way that I work. But Seiko cranks out god awesome stuff in like a day.
He's a video machine.
If it flows, if it just comes out, boom, boom, boom. Like for me, it doesn't usually flow. I have to sit there and really think about it, and really work on it. So some people, and you might get 9, 10 hours, and it's great. But for other people, yeah, just find out how it works for you, and only work when you're having a good time on it.
The longest it took me was about 3.5 months. First couple of hours working on it, I got sick and tired of the song and the video. I just walked away. And then like 3 months later, it's like, wait, I got an idea.
Yeah.
Only 3.5 months?
Well, I kind of now only submit to conventions I go to, and now are part of the constants of all conventions I go to, so I no longer have to care about deadlines, because I can't enter them. So I have an it answer. It's done when it'll be done.
Works with me.
Wait, one more answer.
For the first time, there's going to be a learning curve, so I don't know, you have to allot some time for that. Also, it depends on how much of a perfectionist you are. Like, I've gone and like removed like dust and noise from source footage because I've gotten picky about that and I'm stupid. Or you can just put stuff together and like it can be done like fairly quickly. Like it depends on the video as well. Like between a 5-minute video or a 1-minute video, like a 5-minute video with lots of cuts, like a techno song, that could take like ages, but a 5-minute slow song could take like less time. I don't know, it all depends. Sorry.
And DDR better take less than a year.
Okay, we had a question over here, and we'll get to you next.
All right, my next question is, I've worked on several videos since my first one, and I was wondering, have you gone back to like one of your earlier works and remastered it and redone it?
Yes. I spent most of the first part of this year doing that. It was boring.
The only time I go back and change things is if I want a high quality copy of an older video that I didn't make a high quality render for. And then when I load up that timeline, I'm like, you know, that really annoyed the hell out of me that cut was there. And so I do a couple of minor tweaks usually, or in the case of Sappy Looping video, count 30 seconds off the end. But no, otherwise it's done, and your energy can usually be spent on making something new.
Sorry, I have something else to add. Like, yeah, I usually think that your energy could be better spent on something new, but I wanted to redo stuff. And one of my videos actually remade it right after I finished making it. I did like DDR music, Young Forever, to Grave of the Fireflies, and I did it and showed it to my friends, and one of my friends was like, "Wow, that looks like crap!" Like literally, because CPM has re-released it, but their first DVD of Grave of the Fireflies like looked awful. But I didn't have the R2, the Japanese DVD, but my friend loaned it to me, so I remade the video right after finishing it the first time.
With one video I did, Mr. Roboto, which I did originally in 1983, I was using whatever I had, which was probably nth generation copies of stuff off of TV, which somebody had gone and made a copy for a friend, and made a copy for a friend. So that was the first one. In fact, that's how All You Need Is Love was done, was, hey, we got these copies of Space Cruiser Yamato with all this violence in it. Which eventually, as soon as the pre-records came out, that ended up getting done. So a lot of my earlier works are slowly getting redone when I can find the time as the quality of material comes out. And we had a question over here. Don't worry, we'll get back to the back of the room in a little while.
All right, this question's more directed at Tim Park. Why the green monkeys? Like, what's the origin of this? I've wondered for quite a while.
Okay, yeah, there's a little story behind that. At an anime club showing, the president was like sitting at the table outside and like collecting the money, like collecting for the showing and like watching over stuff. And I was drinking a bottle of Jones soda. And if you know Jones soda, they have like random pictures on their labels. And I was drinking like a vanilla cola, and it had this picture of a green monkey, and totally out of the blue, like the president was there, was like, "Fear the green monkey." And yeah, it was so funny. I later took off the label and scanned it in.
That's a cute idea. Do we have any questions back here? One moment, please.
Yeah, did any of you guys do a video that was kind of a tribute to someone or something in the real world, like an anime voice artist or something? Like somebody who died or passed away or something?
Guy right next to you.
Oh, sorry.
He did.
I did?
Oh, well, not for anime, but didn't you do stuff for other people?
Who?
Your Godzilla stuff?
Oh yeah, well Godzilla the music video came out because I kept seeing, I kept hearing this song over and over again, and like I put in my credits, I was inspired by Monster Week on the 4:30 movie while growing up. But that's how Godzilla the music video got made, and eventually it got shown at a GodzillaCon and has sort of become an on-off opening video for that convention. But as for inspirations, it all depends. I haven't really done anything as a tribute to anyone, although for the opening video for Anime East 94, I did put in this video is dedicated to Osamu Tezuka, who had passed away a year or two ago. Any other questions back here in the back rows?
I have some semi-answer to that. The meaning of one of my videos did change for me. I did a quick Wings of Honey and Mise video to the opening theme to Star Trek Enterprise, and after the Space Shuttle Columbia burned up, I kind of saw that video differently. But I didn't really do it as a dedication. It's just after that event happened, I kind of saw the video as a little... Oh, my Heisei Tanuki Pompoko video, Faceless Hill, was a little bit of an environmental message to it. It wasn't really a tribute.
And as Will just pointed out on the ballot, video number 3, Desperado, has a dedication tacked on the end of it as well.
No.
Yeah, I haven't done one personally. Does anybody have a question that they can shout?
Hold on a sec.
Can any of you name any? Can any of you name any AMV ideas you've come up with that have just been too wrong to actually do?
Berserk, and the opening theme to Colorful using the Casca rape scene, since after all, it is the same person doing the voices.
I've got two of them. Eye of the Tiger to Apocalypse Zero. Out Comes Evil by Lords of Acid to Legend of the Overfiend series.
Or anything with Legend of the Overfiend series.
At Anime Week in Atlanta last year, some of us were joking about doing DDR's Drop the Bomb to Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh my God, no!
There is a video that's What a Wonderful World to Fist of the North Star.
Todd Dissinger did that.
There was a bad one. Yeah. There was one, and I know the person who made it, so I'm allowed to say it's probably the worst concept, and he did it intentionally be the worst concept. William Shatner's Tambourine Man, M.D. Geist. And it's edited like a serious video, but it is entirely to make fun of it. It's painful.
That sounds like something that should run in Mystery Anime Theater.
Even they have standards.
They actually have standards?
Well, yeah. Standards the way he measures.
Were we all answering that one?
Should we show you the videos?
Before we do, we just got a little note that says, what is it?
Red Wolf Distro. There, I mentioned them.
Yeah, it's homepage.mac.com/ I think it tells us. Oh, it's AMV. Oh, he got a domain. It's amvcds.org. If you want a lot of videos and you've got a crappy 56K connection, this is a guy who has way too much free time and money, and basically he let creators send him all their videos on CD, and he says, send me blank CDs and an envelope with a stamp and your address on it, and I'll copy music video CDs for you. In fact, I'll even do a whole 50 spindle if you want.
Just takes time.
Yeah, and so amvcds.org. And I don't know, I haven't actually ordered from him before, but I've got stuff there. He's a really nice guy, and if you're willing to wait a couple weeks, you can get a lot of videos that way.
And if you make them, you can also send them to him. He's really trying to collect them all on discs, like when people make these discs.
Yeah, you have to send him CDs, you cannot send money,
No cash changes hand. You send him blank CDs and a return mailer.
That includes the postage.
Yes,
on the
that
mail.
includes the postage.
Amazing how many people don't realize it takes postage to go through the mail. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you don't include most postage, you just donated some CDs to him.
But I paid for it to get to him.
Yeah, but how are you going to get it back? Which reminds me, I'll have to ask this when we get to tech level. Basically, video CDs for the how should I put it? The technologically impaired. Anyway, at this point, who'd want to see some videos?
Well, we're also on the bad ideas that nobody ever made. I think we only got halfway through. Did anybody else have any?
With bad ideas. Let's finish the bad ideas.
Not a problem.
Because we were like right up to Will, and I was like, okay.
Before we got diverted. Any other bad ideas people have?
I had a good idea that I didn't get to make. It was, if anyone wants to take this up, I was going to do a trailer for MAT3K this year. It was going to be Gravitation and Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I said, I like this movie, and there's got to be an anime about a gay rocker out there somewhere. So, there you go. If you get the CD, you can even get the 5.1 remix of the trailer to make your own version.
I did a weird combination that turned out to be kind of cute. I did Snot Song Stupid to Totoro.
I wrote my good friend Matt Pison a letter a while ago, and I said, I've got 2 ideas for a video. And the first one is there's a Sass Jordan song called Ugly, and it's about a woman who says, I don't care what you think, I'm gonna have sex with whoever I want. And I'm like, you're at Tsukudoji, demons and stuff, and it would be a comedy. And he's like, And the second one I was thinking of the Macarena and like recutting Avas and the other robots just look like they dance, which morphed into something far more reputable in the DDR project. And Matt wrote back and said, there are some ideas you just shouldn't do. Do the porn one.
to run, I guess, a few examples of some anime music videos. Right now, I'm going to start off with the first video I ever did, which this is a remake because the original one is now like dust. Who thought videotapes can last 20 years or less? This will give you not only an idea on what I was working with, but also the quality of the material. I apologize if it's not, you know, right off this DVD with stereophonic sound. Back then, I just had 2 VCRs and something called a 45 record. And if you want to start it, it was basically All You Need Is Love by the Beatles.
You're the moderator, so you choose what's the point. We won't come up with anything by ourselves.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well,
Scott?
I think that you have to keep your audience in mind, and somebody who's just sitting down and looking at a video, they're not going to see the same thing that you as a creator see. You know what you're trying to say, but you have to realize that what we're basically seeing is a short film that's very intense. There's a lot of visuals, the music is very intense, it's very strong. So I feel that if you just throw a lot of random scenes together, someone will feel like, hey, I can walk out in the middle and then come back and I won't really miss anything. I feel that there needs to be a narrative flow. Not necessarily a direct story where point A leads to point B leads to point C, but if your audience members get a subconscious feeling that this is going somewhere, that each image builds on the next, builds on the next, builds on the next, and it flows together. A lot of the stuff we saw today, even if you don't see an actual story, or if it kind of bounces around a little bit, you get the feeling that they're going somewhere. And I think that type of thing is very important. Keep that in mind. So even if I'm doing something, you know, silly and crazy edits or whatever, like, you know, the Dragon Ball one or whatever, I try to keep the idea of narrative flow in mind. I mean, that's kind of most important to me. That it's going somewhere and it feels like that to the audience.
I think Scott just summed it all up perfectly.
What do you want from me?
Wait, what was the original question again? How was that worded?
About style, you know, any particular style you prefer, you know, like storytelling, random thoughts.
I agree with Scott, a video needs a narrative, but I kind of go like all over the board within that, from character profiles to androids blowing stuff up.
I let the song kind of dictate what style is required. I don't have a particular choice. Some songs lend themselves more to just clip type, you know, short clips, and some lend themselves to a particular character, and then some are more narrative and storytelling. You just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, it depends on the video. Like my Ranma Combat is mostly a retelling of the first Ranma movie. Other ones just pick some sort of gimmick or gag or something and make a weird comedy video. I don't know.
I really wasn't paying attention to the question, so I'm going to make this all up. I'm mainly going to reference other people's videos as examples what I think the question was. A video has to be more than just footage and music, but it doesn't always have to tell a story. Sometimes it can just be a mood. Denise Thompson made Paxiorium, made a Enya video to Little Pet Shop of Horrors, and it doesn't actually tell a story, but boy does it more than set a mood and set a feeling, where you'll have an action video which has absolutely no theme or story, but it's built together and you can see a progression, not quite story-wise, but each scene kinetically flows into the next one. So I guess more videos should have a completeness than specifically a story or a theme. What? Oh, I love part 2. That was the still shots to Cowboy Bebop, right? That progressively, when you look at it, I don't really think it had a story, but it more than had a completeness to it. It was basically using all still shots except for a couple of select scenes, and it blew me away just because, one, I'd never seen anything like it before, and it was complete. I hope that actually answered the question I didn't listen to.
Okay, we have a question in the audience.
about the use of end credits at the end of music videos? Are they required, or is it more of an optional thing?
It depends.
People,
What do you want to do?
when you're watching a bunch of videos back to back, you don't want to see end credits interrupting each one. I've taken to having all the videos play and then the credits at the very end, so you know at least who made it.
Also, some contests specifically either do not want credits or want in-obscure credits. For some of them are specifically blind contests. I don't need a mic, I'm the drummer. Basically, it depends. For personal distribution, if you're just sending it to people, whatever you want to do, it's your video. End credits, basically anytime you have a credits or bumper, keep it short. You want people to remember your video, not your really snazzy, cool bumper with lens flare. Ben, it's not here for me to make fun of.
Yeah, he is.
Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He moved. But no, he actually does really short bumpers. But basically, I've seen someone who had a 1 and 30-second bumper on a 2.5-minute video. Really cool bumper. He probably spent more time on the bumper than his entire video library at that point.
It really sucks when you're watching something you say, those credits were better than the video.
And then there's Ray Torres.
He was exactly what I was thinking of. And the credits weren't very good.
They were very long.
Yes, yes, they were.
One more thing, please check your spelling. I saw one video, there was a grammar error in the title screen. In fact, in Century on Springer, I misspelled Weird Al's name. I made the stupid mistake of searching on Google for the misspelling and thought, hey, the misspelling shows up, it must be right. That was stupid. And in fact, someone sent me an email saying, yeah, Century on Springer was great, it was 10 out of 10, but you misspelled Weird Al's name, so it's only 5 out of 10. And he was swearing at me, and it wasn't very nice, but I made the fix, and I told him, and thank you for the correction. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question over here.
I'm sure all of you have done judging and screenings and all that for different conventions. I'm curious if there's ever been an anime music video that you've seen and you really wanted to put in the contest, but the video was like bad or the audio was off or broke a rule of the contest. Like, have you ever run into any that specifically pop in your mind?
Oh, where to begin? For those of you who don't know, I deal with a lot of contests. The most favorite thing is when people send me on a CD that holds 700 megabytes of data, a 40 meg MPEG-1. I'm like, okay, so this video has so much style we can't cramp its space. It's basically, yeah, that happens a lot where someone will send me, now for content, it depends on the video. I'm not talking about content, that's contest, but sometimes people will send me a video that just is such bad quality where it's a 56 kilobit per second MP2 audio, not even MP3 audio, with 320 by 160 incredibly low bitrate MPEG-1. Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot more than I'd like.
I've seen some videos where, you know, like the All You Need Is Love video, the generations have gone down to a point that in some scenes it's going straight to black and white.
I think quality affects my overall enjoyment of a video, and with modern editing techniques and the sources available, DVDs and stuff, I kind of do bump videos down a little bit if they have a quality issue. But that doesn't mean I completely discount them if it's good video.
Yeah, in the end, what you'll find is that if you make a good video, and your content is good, your flow is good, you've got your hook, people will forgive the fact that your video is a second generation VHS, or they'll forgive the fact that you have a scene that's got some banding in the clouds. On the other hand, if your concept really sucks, no amount of quality video will ever save you from it.
Especially with everyone used to it now.
Yeah. I guess another thing is it shows how much you care about your own video. One, if you submit to any contests I work with, I go out of my way to be as open to file formats as possible and to have, here, do this for the best possible quality, step-by-step instructions. it shows how much you care about your own video if you try. If a 15 megabyte MPEG 1 is good enough for you, then it's good enough for the contest, you know. Where the type of people who go in and spend the time to read up on it will send me the 300 to 400 megabyte MPEG 2s. Or your raw AVI file. It shows how much you care about your own video, the quality of it. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Like if you're going from Digisub source or raw, you know, DivX RAWs, perfectly acceptable. Spend the time to clean up the footage. It's a matter of respect. You know, you're trying to make your video. This is an art form. Try not to cut it short.
Just a quick note on what Pat said. Kazaa is not the music video creator's friend. If you can find a way to get a better quality copy, do it. If you don't have money, that's what secondhand stores and rich friends are for.
I recommend subscribing to Netflix. They have a ton of DVDs that you can rent and a huge anime selection.
I recommend Greensea personally because they don't have the turnaround and I rented 10 DVDs this month, so the only thing they're going to send me is Stepmom Returns next month policy.
Oh, this will sound a lot like common sense, but honestly, if you're sending something to a convention, read the rules. Not to complain about people who don't, but I've run contests myself. I have friends who run contests, and you'd be surprised what comes in. A lot of times it's just a mistake or somebody didn't quite notice anything, you know, not to poke fun at anybody or whatnot, but a lot of times a video will get disqualified if it just didn't fit what the contest was looking for. And there usually are a lot of rules just to narrow down stuff, just to get it so that things can be playable. So take the extra time, double check it, and if your video doesn't fit the rules, don't say, oh, I'm sure they won't notice, because they will. And they'll probably make fun of you as they're opening the box.
And when we have 185 videos sent to a con and you have 45 people stuck in a room for 6 hours at a time judging it, we notice.
Yeah.
Another quick little fun technical thing is if your movie is in widescreen, make sure that if you have an anamorphic DVD to put it back in widescreen when you're done. The moon is not ovular.
It happens.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a sec. I have a question over here.
Seeing as you guys are the more popular AMV creators and most of you have fans. I
am.
I have a fan?
Do you have any weird fan stories? Do you guys have any weird fan stories of people tackling you, molesting you?
This wasn't my fan. This was back at Otakon 2001. This is the only time I've ever had a problem with someone from Q's home country. After prejudging at the Otakon music video contest and the finals were announced, you know, when you go to these things, you're like, you know, yeah, I was there. You know, we can talk about the trends. You know, we saw a lot of videos that were cool. You know, comedy was really strong, that sort of thing. And the finals list comes out, and I get this email from somebody like, who the fuck are you to disqualify, you know, Vic Vaughn's This Isn't What We Meant video? It's the greatest thing ever, and he just goes off on me like hell. And I'm like, get on him, and I'm like, Vic, you have a really obnoxious stalker fanboy in Germany. Shut this guy up. At which point, Vic Iam's the guy, and he's like, you know, lay off, you know, whatever, it's cool. And then the guy starts cursing out Vic.
Who are you and what have you done with my idol? I love Vic. He wouldn't have said that.
We all love Vic.
Including Vic. Especially Vic loves Vic.
That was the wee part.
Vic on Vic.
I had this obsessed fan, his name is Vic. No, I'm just kidding.
Vic and Will walk into a gay bar.
Now, there was this one guy who used a whole bunch of clips from my own music videos and his music videos. He duplicated my website layout and design, stole graphics from me. I was basically trying to be another Aluminum Studios.
I'm sorry.
And I kind of sent him an email politely asking him to stop, and he didn't, so I ratted him out a little bit, and he got like all obsessive. He kept sending me emails and such, and he eventually tracked down my phone number and called me. So that disturbed me a little bit.
I got a death threat once over Nazca Does the Valley of the Wind. And And
Say
that,
what?
that led to inspiration for Kinky's delivery service.
But where did my Love's Late Totoro come from?
You just couldn't understand why I would want to do that kind of thing.
At least you didn't make the whole movie, it was just a trailer.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
I don't know if anyone here has seen The Quest for Dokinian.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, there's a fake joke AIM, like conversation on AOL Instant Manager between Bill and I, and we used our actual AIM handles in the thing. So now anyone who's seen that video knows like my AIM handle. And I got this message out of the blue. Like this guy, he started talking, and he asked me, and I quote, "Are you a computer?"
Well, are you?
So I replied, my CPU is a Cyberdyne Systems 9000 processor.
The same guy I am to me and started doing similar things, so I had to block him.
Yeah, and I saved the log. It's weird. And if I can just say something related to the tech, I mean, like before I forget the last question. Apparently, some cons have now been getting videos where the music plays, but at some point in the video, there's the AIM slamming door or opening door. If you export your video to tape from your computer, please turn AIM off.
And yes, it will glitch you if you're doing FireWire as well.
At that point, it seemed, what? You have no fans?
Well, technically, but she's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But she was my girlfriend before she was my fan. So
I know a lot of girls who like you.
She wasn't in anime until she started going up.
Actually,
Sounds familiar.
my girlfriend was a fan for a long time.
Well, actually, I do.
I hope she still is.
Not after this.
I was a fanboy. Basically, I've got a thing where I was the fanboy instead of having fangirls on me. There's a person sitting in front of us with a blue hat who made a whole bunch of really cool music videos, which is one of the reasons I'm stuck with this technical stuff, because I saw his videos I did review and was like, wow, this is cool, and asked Jingora, who's in charge of the track, can I get copies of this video? It's like, yeah, if you help me out. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be easy. I'm still here.
And broker than ever.
I think that the closest thing that I've got, like I honestly haven't really had anything negative happen, but I've had quite a few people come up to me. I'm not trying to brag. I mean, I hope this happens to everybody. Someone comes up to me and says, "I heard you were an asshole, but you're actually a nice guy." And I think you know, a lot of times anime music video creators get a very bad rep as being very egotistical, very arrogant, very, you know, self-centered, and just like, I'm important. And then they kind of, you know, actually the good ones, and I'm not saying myself, I'm saying everybody else, if you're not a good person, you can't make good videos.
That explains me.
Because you have to believe it.
Yeah. Multiple personality means never be alone on Friday.
Jim, why do you look so embarrassed after that?
What?
Can I tell my fan story?
No.
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 It's okay, I did it, Jim.
You sure you don't want to?
No.
We'll never get the mic back.
No.
Why?
Next question.
No, it's tag time.
Brett actually is a nice guy. Took a little while to find that out, but the rumors are not true. He actually is a nice guy.
I've actually had no problems with any fans, except that one fan said, "Hey, you did that stuff really good. Have you ever thought of doing it as a career?" You know, and
You're still here.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm now working in television and all that. The only other thing I had happen unusual was a friend of mine actually appeared on a Japanese TV show to do karaoke. They basically flew him over for the show and such. He said, "Hey, why don't you give me a tape of some of your music videos?" So he basically brought it over, showed it to people, says, "Oh, this is very nice. Your friend is very talented, but because of copyright problems, we cannot show them." So several of my music videos are sitting somewhere in a vault in NHK Studios in Tokyo. Anyway, we had one more question before we get to who wants to be a techie.
I'm not sure if this was asked earlier because I got in a little late, but when you're selecting video and audio for your videos, what do you suggest doing and not doing in the selection process? What shows one music today?
You use whatever feels good.
You're going to have to listen to the song again and again. You're going to have to watch this anime again and again. I would advise against Push.
I like to do ideas that pop in my head and not really sit down and try and synthetically think of a song and video to use. So I just kind of wait until they come to me on their own and roll with it.
I personally feel that if you've got an idea and you think it's good, so what? Don't worry about it. I mean, if you've got a Linkin Park Dragon Ball Z video, just do it. I mean, I understand this is, not a very popular thought, but, do what you think will be cool, what you think will be fun, and do it for fun. If you're going to send it to a convention, then you might want to double check. Has this been used too much or whatever? But an honestly made video that you just take from yourself and say, I like this song, I like this footage. Don't worry about being popular, because you stand a much better chance of it actually being good.
In other words, have fun.
Yes, because it works.
One example I could give was a video I did to a Meatloaf song called Modern Girl. Originally I started off with Robotech footage, and it sort of degenerated to literally girls with guns. Anyway, we had one question over. Oh, good. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Is that you're actually a nice guy?
No. That was the question about music stuff.
Do you want to answer that?
Just, sorry, as an aside, I don't know, some people get tired of the songs, but I don't get tired of the song, but in 2001, for a few months, I was really sick of the phrase right now. Seriously, whenever I heard it, I was like, ah! And one of my friends would fuck me, he's like, right now, I'm drinking a Pepsi. I'm like, yeah, right now I'm gonna kick your ass.
Right now I've seen that music video too many times.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Let me just say real quick, you might want to research on the net maybe to make sure you're not using the most overused song and the most overused anime when you make your video, so.
Evangelion.
Animemusicvideos.org, it's easy to search for an anime or a song and see how many hits it brings up to see if it's been done or overdone.
And even if there is an overabundance to the song and you still want to make a music video, make it.
Yeah,
but
right.
Have a thick skin.
If you do Dragon Ball Z, do a good job. Make sure it's a good idea.
And always with this hobby is you're going to have a thick skin, because there's going to be some stupid fanboy who thinks you didn't do a good enough job. You know
For his
what?
favorite show.
It's just some 13-year-old pimply kid behind a computer. Ignore him. Have fun. Do this for yourself. The second you interact with someone else is the second you have to worry about something else. So,
Or in other words, it's my video and I'll do what I want with it.
Yeah.
It's worse when someone else thinks you did such a good job that they'd like to have their name on it. That happens a lot. Recently someone took my This Is Your Life video and pulled out the audio and put in Linkin Park's was in the end, I think. Yeah. And I was, for about the first couple seconds, I was like, kind of see where he's going with this, It's kind of neat. There's 3 beats a minute, and yet there's 374 edits. I can see what he's doing. I wrote a very, very, very polite letter to the guy saying, please, please, please don't take credit for someone else's work. And then I wrote a letter to my friend Mike, who's a pit bull, and I said, by the way, Mike, take a look at this link. I came off looking good.
Scott,
he got his ass kicked.
At least he didn't try to submit it to a contest you were running.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
But that type of thing does happen a lot. So yeah, don't steal from somebody else.
Yeah, there was a guy who sent a video to Anime Mid-Atlantic last year, and he used clips from my DDR1 video, and I'm watching him like, that poor compression looks familiar. Oh gee, I'm the only person in this continent who's ever seen that anime and used it in a video.
Who's that Utana character?
Oh gee, he ripped off my video and got a better award than I did. What? I was not so polite when I confronted him after the con.
There was an AMV music video contest in Brazil. Someone took my Dreams of Red video, cut off the title screen, put their own on, and sent it in. But fortunately, the judges caught it. They gave me the guy's email address, so I just posted it on my website for people to flame him.
Yeah, it's still the same website, right?
What?
It's still the same website. I'll check that.
Tell me that contest. I want to go. I speak Portuguese. It's okay.
Now, if they let that happen, I'm entering contests in Brazil now.
Bruce, who speaks Portuguese. Did by chance understand the video?
I'm not saying.
And with the advent of the internet and more computers, then we can hardly imagine. Might as well deal with all the technical questions, or how do I get it into my computer? How do I edit in the computer? How do I get it out of my computer? And I see the first hands have come up, so...
This guy's been raising his hand for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please don't ask how to code AVI, since some of us don't have comp sci degrees.
What?
I just run the equipment, but I don't know what it does. Technology is magic. Anyway.
Just a quick question. What are your preferred encoding formats for archiving, sending to cons, and web distribution?
D1.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's look at it from all points of view. In my opinion, the best archival format is MPEG-2 insane bitrate. Insane, I call is 12 to 16 megabits per second. It makes DVD look like crap. Basically, the reason I say this is it's small enough to fit on a single CD, which means you can burn multiple copies, and MPEG-2 is a nice standard format that will last for a very long time. In 50 years from now, MPEG-2 will still be readable because it's an open format. You do have to pay licensing, but the source code and the format itself is open. For submission to conventions, it depends on the convention. The ones I run, send me what you got. I prefer MPEG-2, that archival file I was talking about. Now for web distribution, it depends. Probably the most compatible file format for web distribution is VCD compliant MPEG-1.3. That is a nice single answer. Everything from a Palm to, well, if the Palm has audio, from a Palm to the highest end computer can play it. It is the most compatible format under the sun that I know of. If you want a little bit higher quality in a sacrifice for compatibility, I would say a DivX AVI.
I have one comment I'd like to make. What, like Patrick?
What? We're not done yet.
Okay, sorry.
As far as archival formats, Patrick said MPEG-2 is a very standard thing that'll be playable in 50 years. That's one of my concerns. I don't want to go use some open source codec that a high school student wrote to archive. Now, there are some things that are great for editing, but I like to use more standard things, MPEG-2, Motion JPEG and stuff, for archiving, just to make sure that I can still use that in the future if I want to go back.
I recently got into working, thanks to the lovely Sony camera line, working in D1, which is regular DV. It's professional level codec spec, so it ain't going anywhere anytime soon either. Looks pretty good. What's nice is that if you have a 4-minute video, you can fit it on a single CD, but you're pushing it. And what's nice is that you can also edit with it really, really fast, really, really smooth, and there's even hardware support for it.
Anybody else for a question?
One word of caution. This is also going to sound like common sense. Archive at the highest possible quality. I had a friend who made an MPEG-1 out of his video, you know, a small internet distribution type of thing, and then deleted the originals. And he didn't really realize what he was doing because he left the project file, but deleted all the source stuff. And then later, when he tried sending it to contests, couldn't come out with a better one. Just be very, very careful and try to keep as high a quality as possible. Mistakes like that can easily be made. Yeah, and get it off your computer. It's on my hard drive. It's archived.
Famous last words.
For archival, you either need data redundant RAID, which is stupid expensive, or optical media. Not magnetic media.
And don't leave it in your car.
Yeah. And if you're going to back it up in 2 places, 3 places. Give a copy to your grandma.
My mom has that big twos of all my stuff in case my apartment burns down.
Okay, we have questions first to you, and then.
A lot of these things, if you want further details, almost everything we're going to talk about, I can guarantee has been covered somewhere in the guides on animemusicvideos.org. The website is animemusicvideos, all spelled out in plural, .org. Everything we're going to talk about is there, but it's better to have individual questions. Okay, in your case, what format to edit in? It depends. The best thing to edit in is what are you editing with. If you're editing in DV footage, where you're going to an external DV box, you want to edit in the DV native standard. If you have an MJPEG card, you want to edit in MJPEG. If you have you want to stay true to the format that you have, because every time you convert from one codec to another, you're losing quality. Remember in tapes, every time you made a copy of the tape, that was generational loss. Codec conversion is the digital equivalent of generational loss. The only exception is lossless codecs, which is uncompressed or HUF-YUV. But going from DV to MJPEG to DivX, you've lost quality at every step. It may not be perceptual right away, but these codecs, because the way math works, every time you do it, it gets worse.
If you want to get into the real nitty-gritty details of how video works and how compression works and all that, there's a really nice book. I forgot the author's name. It's called Video Demystified, and they give it to you when you start in film school. It's pretty cheap. It's like $30–40 on Amazon. It comes with a little CD of demo stuff. It even comes with a PDF copy of the book so you can sit there and search for the important stuff. If you really, really want to know the technical of this, sit down and spend a good couple hours with this book, and you will know more than you ever thought anybody should know about why and how you do video.
Just a quick question. There might be some people here who are completely new to this. Does everyone know what a codec is? Within a video file, the audio and video data can be compressed into different formats. The codec is the compression format that you're using within your AVI file. So, and there's just tons of different ones out there. AV, Motion JPEG, HUF-YUV.
And they all do something different.
Okay, you first, then you.
All right, I had 2 quick questions here. Well, one, I have a Dazzle 80, and when I capture stuff with it, it just pauses in the capture, so the capture's no good. What's going on there? Any idea?
Yes, my advice is to call Dazzle's technical support and ask them.
Okay, what happened? That's
No, I'm dead serious, and that sounds specifically like a problem with the Dazzle product, which none of us here are qualified to be able to answer that. I know that for a fact. Call Dazzle's technical support.
I'd like to make one general comment. With video capture, a lot of times, like, it's really, video capture cards and stuff are really picky when it comes to hardware. Interrupt settings, DMA settings, all the technical nitty-gritty things on your computer can seriously affect it. The mode your hard drive's running at, like hit the withdraw valve ultra DMA mode, that'll mess up captures. So there's a lot of technical things that can cause problems like that.
If you want a simple video card that it won't look great, but you can clean it up later, and you want a card that'll work with everything under the sun, drop $80, get an ATI TV Wonder. Do not get the USB edition. Do not get the value edition. Buy the regular one. It's not the greatest capture card in the world, but it's compatible with everything under the sun. You do all your compression on it through software anyways, and you won't have that problem unless it's your computer's just being too slow and choking up on its own, at which point no video card's gonna help. That or get a FireWire bridge.
Like with hardware, you really have to be very careful, because what we usually want to get out of our hardware is a lot more advanced than most of the stuff that you'll find just at the consumer level. Most of the stuff you'll find that says, look, you can do video. Those types of cards are generally just for your casual user who just wants to scan in his home movies and play around with them a little bit. So be careful, do some research. AnimeMusicVideos.org does have a forum for comparing hardware. And looking at things, but most of the stuff that you'll be able to pick up at the store won't really give you the power that you need to control every frame to get really sharp video. Because now with DVD ripping, it's
And I just
less
thought
of
of
an issue.
something else that may apply to you. You're copying from a VHS in your computer, right? Buy a time-based corrector. VHS is a very specific format which is easily broken. A time-based corrector is an external little box that you put video in, and you basically, it goes from VCR to the time-based corrector to your capture card. It sits in between, and it cleans your source footage. It gets rid of all video noise. As a side note, macrovision is considered noise. It's a $300. It's the cheapest, best time-based corrector is a Data Video TVC 1000. What it will guarantee the output is pure NTSC signal. That's probably the best thing you can find.
Is there video cards with that built in?
Yes, no, there actually are. $8,000 to $9,000. Yes. Oh, you know that $300 TVC I told you about? The next best TVC that I've been able to test and work with costs $4,000.
Yeah. One quick note about NTSC signal. This is something that comes up in, never the same color. This is something that comes up a lot, especially in contest submissions. Most people nowadays do all their work on a computer. Most people distribute their video on a computer. There's a couple things you need to watch out for. One is this thing called overscan. Most TVs have kind of a dead zone when it comes to picture. They block out up to 1/10 of the image. Around the border. So if you're doing text effects or anything, make sure that you put it in a little bit. Most editing software will have a soft border that you can see when you're editing. The other thing is that NTSC doesn't like really, really bright, intense colors.
Red.
Like red, it hates red. The other thing is white. White, when you set it on a computer, is not dragging the little color thing up to the upper right-hand corner so that everything says 255 and it's so bright that like you can see your reflection in it. 242. It's 242? Yeah. Okay, what we've been told to do, when I worked in video, we were told to use 210, 210, 210, which is a slight gray. If you create a 210 white file in Premiere and you drag it on your timeline, it will match your timeline. It will look slightly off-white on the computer. When you stick it out on the TV or on a projector for con, it looks like white and it will not blind your audience. It was something that came up in pre-screenings that we were in pain about. We were literally hurting. Among other things, we were really hurting from this, so it was something that we made it a point to say, this has to be
That was part of this question.
Interlacing could be its own 3-hour panel, so we don't want to have to deal with that.
Okay, we have a question over here.
I have a couple questions. My first question is, going back to the codecs, like MPEG 1 and MPEG 2. I produced some of my videos for MPEG 1 for distributing on the internet and stuff like that, but yet it has pixelation and the capture quality doesn't look that good. And then I produced it in MPEG 2, it's clear and everything else, that's great. But then when I go check out the properties, it's only like 207 megabytes for like a 4.5 minute video.
That sounds about right.
But you were saying it was 400, 500.
I'm also talking about 8 to 9 minutes. Also, what you're probably doing is variable bitrate MPEG 2. Sometimes people do constant bitrate. Variable bitrate only uses the bits it needs. So the file size isn't going to be as large as it needs, where some people will do constant, which really, basically, that's an acceptable file size. If it looks good, who cares? At a certain point, it's smoke and mirrors after a certain point. If it looks good on a screen, it outputs properly for television, and it's only 207 megabytes, put the horse in the stable, it's done with the front. Also, the 400 megabyte file it's talking about is an 8-minute long video.
And my other question is, I use MP3. If I use MP3 files or do you use the CD?
Do not use MP3 files for your audio source.
Here's the thing, if you submit a music video with MP3 as your audio, and MPEG, I've actually had 3 people I had to disqualify for Otakon. They submitted a music video with MPEG video and MP3 audio. The rules specifically say no because my equipment cannot play MP3 audio to the projector.
The other thing is if you're using 128 kilobit MP3, like when it's being played at the convention and stuff, you can hear the loss. It's not as sharp as like a nice clean CD rip.
You can use MP3s if you have no other source of the audio, but you're going to be recompressing the audio. So you're basically dealing with an audio that's already been compressed, and then when you're done editing the music video, you're going to compress it a second time. So you're basically, it's like listening to a cassette tape that has been a copy of a cassette tape.
Then where do you get your audio from?
Buy
CDs.
If you don't like
the
copyrighted.
If you don't like the recording industry,
Guess what? The MP3s are technically copyrighted also.
But yeah, I can get the audio onto the video, and yeah, I take the CD, try to put it in the computer.
The problem with that is that it's a limited number of new CDs that are doing that. You might want to consider finding some older music.
Or search for a 320 kilobit per second MP3. They exist.
Actually, you said you were dragging it off the CD.
Yeah.
When you do that, you only get like a little pointer thing. You need a CD ripping software that will actually extract the CD track to WAV file on your computer. There's one called FreeRip that I use. You can't just drag the tracks that you see off the CD to your hard drive from Explorer. That won't work.
Convert it into a separate WAV file.
Or if you are going to use a 120 kilobit per second MP3, you download it through a peer-to-peer network, bring it into SoundForge and try to do some audio cleanup. Or if you can't, just live with the fact that your audio is going to sound slightly tinny. Ultimately, it's your video. If you're willing to accept that the audio is slightly tinny, that's showing how much you care about the audio.
It will be played in a very large room with very large speakers, and the sound off.
Yeah, you
do what
realize how
you can.
good the audio system in the main event room here at Otakon? Of all the conventions I go to, the main event here, it actually blows away the ones in California that I'll leave unnamed alone. The audio system in this main events room is top notch. A MP3, you will hear all the compression artifacts. If you're willing to live with that, submit. We won't stop you. It's just something. Don't submit in MP3.
All right. So, what program is it again?
There's a whole bunch of software for CD ripping.
Yeah, just search
for
CD and rip.
And what it is, it's a software that extracts the CD track to a WAV file. You can't do it by dragging and dropping off the CD.
Or hold out for a high bitrate version of the file. I use peer-to-peer networks also, OG. I'm already in trouble with this hard drive. MP3s aren't going to hurt me. Find a 320 kilobit per second version of the audio you're listening to. Hold out for the higher file size.
Because I found like a 256 or something. It was like 200 something when I had my audio, when I got it. It was like 200 something.
Okay. Look for better. Yeah. Bigger, better, faster, stronger.
On a funny note, at the contest that I ran, we had on the submission form, there was a place for the album that it came from, and out of the 16 that we got, 14 of them left that blank. My first thought was, how the hell do you not know what album? You just look at the... So, at least buy the CD,
Say album,
if you can.
Memorex.
Jim, do you want to...
Okay, we have a question over
One
here.
more.
What?
Well,
more.
Oh, one more.
12:20.
One more question.
Got something to do.
Okay.
Do you use Macs or PCs, and what editing software would you recommend?
This is one we got on the line.
Am I the only Mac user on the...
We'll start with Scott.
PC versus Mac.
Well, the problem is PC versus Mac just makes people angry. There's definitely pluses on each one. I prefer to use a Mac for editing, but it is more expensive. I mean, I like it much better, but you also won't have as many like shareware programs and such. So I actually create on a Mac, and then when I'm trying to convert it to MPEG or MPEG-2 or things like that, I actually bring it over to another PC that I have. I've been using Premiere, which is what most people will use, but I've had a lot of problems with it, like we all have. From what I understand, Final Cut Pro, best thing to use on a Mac. Every friend of mine uses it, swears by it.
Also, something else, the difference between Mac and PC doesn't matter once it's on a projector.
Yeah. Just when you're comfortable with using its tool.
Yeah, I use a PC. I've been using Premiere. It's really pissed the hell out of me, so I'm working on getting myself into Sonic Foundry Vegas, which has the UI from hell, but it's really powerful. It's got some really neat features that Premiere doesn't have. But if you're planning on going pro, drop the $1,500, buy yourself a copy of Avid Express.
I've always been PC because I like all the different options for shareware utilities, MPEG encoders and such. They're cheap, they're powerful, there's a lot of software for them. I use Premiere, however when you start wanting to do a lot of effects, Premiere just doesn't cut it. So I use other stuff such as Photoshop and After Effects and Combustion sometimes. That's very expensive.
I just would repeat what he just said, basically. PC, Premiere, After Effects,
2
Photoshop,
VCRs.
2 VCRs and a Laserdisc player, whatever works.
Hey, it worked for me for a long time.
Bobby, back to Beaver.
Okay, any other questions? Are we taking more questions?
We're not taking more questions.
Yeah, the idea we have something to take care of first, and then we're going to move into one-on-one stuff, and you know, because we're supposed to be out of here by 1, and we found that a lot of times someone has a very specific question.
Before we get into one-on-one, I finally found my
Okay, there's also we also have music video at 1. We really do have to take care of this.
Right. Let's go ahead and do the special event.
Right.
Then can I show my video because I finally found it. Then we'll do the one-on-one.
Okay.
So for the people who weren't here at the beginning of the panel, this very tired-looking guy over here is named Matt Pison. Matt is very tired because he works extremely hard. And Matt has been running the Otakon Music Video Contest since 1997 and helping out with it before that. That is the reason that Otakon's contest looks as good as it does. Make sure every video gets played. It doesn't have to. You could arbitrarily pick an hour and a half worth, throw it up, no titles, whatever. Matt's dedication, making sure that everybody who submitted gets a copy, making sure they're as good as possible. If videos are really screwed up, he makes them work. If he can't do it, he finds people who can help him. Anyway, Matt's been running what I consider to be, and I know I'm not completely arbitrary on this, but I think Matt's runs the best music video contest as far as just quality level at the administration level. And the good thing for him and the sad thing for us is that Matt is retiring after this year from running the music video contest. I doubt he's going to have nothing to do with it, and he may even be still this busy with it, trying to help somebody next year take over. But we have a symbol of our appreciation as music video creators we would like to present to you. Matt, please come up here. Hopefully I won't drop this, ironically. No, I gave you a shirt in 2001. Very cleverly, we found out what Matt's favorite anime character was. We got a cell of Ranma-chan. Don't worry, these wear balloons will come off. And for anyone who can't see it, the idea here is that Ranma-chan is looking kind of bored, punching someone off to the side, which we believe is Kuno. And the idea is that on the side they say, "Where are our replacements? Falling cows? Why can't I use fan sub footage? You've got to take my at the door entry. Why didn't I get in the contest? I should have won. It's all your fault. Why aren't you showing all 8 of my videos? And I love you, I would date with you." And then Ranma-chan is thinking,
I am so looking forward to my retirement.
little plaque at the bottom that says, "Thanks for the best contest, Matt. Otakon 2003 AMV Panelists." And we have cards. Yes, but we love you anyway.
Yeah, it makes a good problem. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Woo! Matt is not retiring from this at all. He's still going to be the evil doctor on MAT3K, which he does quite awesomely. And helping out other parts of the con. And he has a starring role in our next fan parody.
Okay, anything else, folks?
Yeah, I finally found my video.
Okay, Patrick Bohnet finally found his video.
When we were showing videos, I didn't have it on my hard drive. Vlad had it on his hard drive. Yes, we can tell we're geeks when we carry hard drives. So we were talking about music videos, so we showed a video that everyone made. And I never told you guys which video of mine I was proud of, because this is it. It's basically, it's the first music video I ever made. Remember I told you that I made a music video because I saw all these people making things and I was running their contests, helping with their judging, and who was I if I couldn't do what they did? So I tried and failed, but it's fun. This is Kimagure Orange Road, Live in Mono.